Okay, let's dive into something truly fascinating today. The future of skin longevity. We've got this really great article here packed with insights, you know,
Yeah, it's a good one.
and our mission really is to unpack the most important stuff from this source, filter out the noise, and just get straight to what actually matters for you.
Absolutely. And you've kind of hit on the core shift right away. The source makes it really clear we're moving beyond that old anti-aging mindset,
Right.
which often felt reactive, didn't it? Like trying to fix damage after it happened.
Totally. Anti-aging always sounded like this, well, battle against time. Skin longevity feels different,
Yeah,
more proactive.
that's exactly the word the source leans into. It's about long-term cellular health, building the skin's own resilience, and keeping it functioning sustainably.
So less about correction, more about support and health from the ground up.
Precisely. Supporting the skin's own incredibly complex systems from, within. And this article points to three big areas driving this: epigenetics, cellular restoration, and the skin's microbiome.
Okay, so those are our key themes for this deep dive. We're going to explore each one, explain what they actually are, and crucially, connect them back to why they're changing how we think about and care for your skin. Ready?
Let's do it.
All right, first up, epigenetics. Sounds pretty heavy, like deep science. But the source gives a helpful way in. Rami, can you break that down?
Yeah, think of epigenetics as studying how things outside your actual DNA code, like your environment, lifestyle, habits, can influence which genes get switched on or off.
Huh.
It doesn't change the DNA sequence itself, but it changes how your cells read and use that DNA.
Oh, okay. So the genes are like the instruction manual, but epigenetics is like
Yeah.
putting sticky notes or highlights on certain pages, telling
Yeah.
the cell which instructions to follow, or maybe how loudly.
That's a great analogy, actually, and the source uses that really strong one. Genes may load the gun, but your habits, skincare, and environment pull the trigger.
Oh, wow.
So your genetics are there, yeah, but how they behave is really influenced by everything else.
That really brings home the idea of personal influence. And the source mentions specific things in the skin that are affected by these epigenetic changes, doesn't it?
It does. It lists really critical functions like collagen production, you know, the skin's scaffolding.
Mm-hmm.
Epigenetic factors can dial that up or down. It also impacts inflammation, how melanin is distributed, so pigmentation, and even barrier repair and hydration.
So my daily walk, maybe stress from work, what I eat, it's not just superficially affecting my skin, it's potentially tweaking how my skin's basic functions operate, like at the gene expression level.
That's exactly it. Your daily life is basically in constant conversation with your skin's DNA instructions.
That's significant.
Yeah.
So how is advanced skincare starting to, well, use this understanding?
Well, the source talks about formulations being designed to support more youthful patterns of gene expression. This means exploring ingredients, specific peptides, plant extracts, adaptogens maybe. Ingredients you might even recognize, like bakuchiol, resveratrol, certain types of niacinamide. They're being looked at for how they might modulate these pathways and, reduce those aging markers at a deeper level.
So it's less about just filling a wrinkle, more about using something that signals the skin cells to, say, make more collagen,
Yeah.
influencing the instructions, not just patching the outcome.
Exactly right. It's trying to optimize the skin's own biological communication.
And connecting this back to you, listening. Understanding epigenetics feels incredibly empowering, right?
Mm-hmm.
It shows that direct scientific link between your everyday choices, sun protection, sleep, diet, stress, and the deep down health and behavior of your skin cells.
Yeah, it really puts lifestyle choices right at the center of skin science.
Mhm.
Your lifestyle isn't just general health, it's a key factor in your skin's epigenetic story.
Absolutely. Okay, building on that, let's move to cellular repair and skin homeostasis. The skin's always fixing itself, isn't it? It's a really dynamic organ.
Oh, completely. It's in this constant state of renewal and repair that's homeostasis. This turnover, this repair mechanism is vital for a strong barrier and just optimal function.
But that slows down.
But yeah, as the source notes, this really sophisticated system, it just gets less efficient as we age. No surprise there.
Okay, and here's where, according to the source, it gets really interesting. What specific processes start to lag?
The article mentions a few key ones. Keratinocytes, the main cells for barrier renewal, they become less regenerative. Fibroblasts, the collagen and elastin factories, they become less productive. And crucial DNA repair enzymes, the ones constantly fixing damage from things like UV light, their activity drops.
Right.
And that's why this longevity-focused skincare is looking at ways to actively support these internal functions, not just cover up the signs that they're declining.
Okay, so is it like giving the skin's own repair crews better tools or maybe more energy. What specific strategies or ingredients does the source mention here?
Well, it details some fascinating approaches. One is using actual DNA repair enzymes like photolyase and endonuclease applied topically.
Wow, really?
Yeah, to help skin cells directly mend UV damage. Another is boosting cellular energy by supporting the mitochondria of the cell's power plants,
Yeah.
using things like coenzyme Q10, which many people know, but also NAD precursors like NMN. That's a huge area in longevity research generally.
Energy precursors in skincare. That makes sense if energy is a problem for aging cells. And the source mentions stem cell factors too.
Yes, it talks about using stem cell-derived factors, including exosomes. Think of exosomes as tiny messenger pod cells released to communicate.
Okay.
Applied topically, these factors can sort of encourage skin cells to act more regeneratively, improving that cell-to-cell talk.
So these aren't just quick fixes, temporary plumpers.
Yeah,
The goal is to make the skin's actual cells work better at repairing damage, making proteins talking to each other.
that's the key difference the source really highlights. These innovations aim to help the skin function younger, more efficiently, not just look younger for a bit.
Function over just appearance. Yeah, that's a really powerful shift.
It's about supporting those fundamental biological processes.
Okay, let's switch gears slightly to another huge area in the article. The skin's microbiome. We hear so much about the gut microbiome, but our skin has its own ecosystem too, right?
It absolutely does. A massive community of bacteria, fungi, viruses, even tiny mites living on our skin surface. It's like a living shield and a communication hub.
And why is it so important for long-term health?
Well, when it's balanced and diverse, it's a major player.
Yeah.
It defends against pathogens, helps maintain that slightly acidic pH vital for the barrier, and even helps regulate the local immune response. It's really critical.
So what happens when that delicate balance gets thrown off?
When it's imbalanced, that's called dysbiosis. The source says it can lead to a whole cascade of issues. Increased sensitivity, irritation, flares of things like acne, eczema, rosacea, premature aging signs, and just a weaker skin barrier overall, making you more vulnerable.
So it's not just about being clean. It's about cultivating a healthy community living on your skin. How is skincare adapting to, well, support this rather than maybe wiping it out?
Yeah, that's a big shift, the source details. Moving away from really harsh, stripping ingredients towards products that are, say, postbiotic rich, pH balanced to keep that natural acidity, and more mindful about preservatives.
Yeah.
Choosing ones that target the bad guys without decimating all the beneficial microbes.
So it's about feeding the good bacteria and maybe using the beneficial stuff they produce.
Exactly. Working with your skin's natural residents. The source mentions key ingredients here. Things like lactobacillus ferment for barrier repair, prebiotics like inulin or xylitol, which are basically food for the good bacteria,
Right.
and postbiotics, which are the beneficial compounds made by the bacteria, like bacterial lysates, that can calm inflammation and boost defenses.
That's fascinating, like tending a little garden on your skin. And connecting this back to you, the listener. Understanding and respecting your skin's microbiome is clearly fundamental, not just for specific conditions, but for overall health, resilience, and longevity.
It's another crucial layer of that internal biology we need to support. Makes you think differently about how you cleanse, doesn't it?
It really does. Okay, let's try and bring all these threads together now. We've talked epigenetics, cellular repair,
Yeah.
the microbiome. What's the synthesis? How does the source define skin longevity when you weave these together?
Well, when you combine these areas, the core idea that really comes through is that the future of skincare is fundamentally about preservation and support, not just reactive correction. It's
Yeah.
about sustaining the skin's own biological functions, extending cellular youthfulness, rather than just focusing on fixing visible damage after it's already there.
Partnering with your skin's biology for the long game, the source lists some characteristics of what it calls smart skincare in this new era.
Right. It defines this kind of smart skincare as being, firstly, preventative, stopping damage before it even starts. It's epigenetically active, aiming to positively influence how skin behaves right down at the molecular level.
Makes sense.
It's barrier respecting and microbiome supportive because that surface balance is key. And it's regenerative, designed to work with those internal cellular pathways we talked about for real long-term resilience.
So what does this all mean for you listening right now? What's the takeaway?
Well, what it means is It's a pretty profound evolution in skincare science, really, moving from something purely cosmetic to something deeply rooted in biology.
Yeah,
It means caring for your skin isn't just about looking good, it's about understanding and supporting its incredibly complex living systems, your genes, your cells, your microbes, to really foster health and resilience across your whole life.
it shifts the whole conversation, doesn't it? From just chasing youth to cultivating actual long-term skin health.
Precisely that, health and resilience.
Okay, so to wrap up this deep dive, we've explored these really exciting frontiers in skin longevity science, using this source as our guide. We've seen how understanding epigenetics, supporting cellular repair, and nurturing the microbiome, how they're all foundational.
And how this represents a really significant mindset shift, moving away from just fighting the visible signs of aging towards building genuine health and resilience from the cells outward.
So here's a final thought for you to consider, drawing straight from this material. Given how much lifestyle and supporting these fundamental biological functions matter for skin longevity, what does this science really suggest about the deep, deep connection between our overall health, diet, sleep, stress, environment, and the health we actually see in our skin?
Hmm.
Does knowing this science change how you think about caring for yourself beyond just the products you might use?
It certainly puts skin health firmly inside the bigger picture of holistic well-being, doesn't it?
Yeah, and that connection.
Yeah.
Definitely something worth thinking more about.